Feeling a little bit better now. If you saw my last video, I wasn't sounding too good, and when I get sick and I get a flu virus or swollen glands or tonsillitis, I shove food down my throat. So as you can see here, lots of oranges and grapefruits, vitamin C, lots of blueberries. I don't know if you can see them from here, and obviously a lot of Chinese green tea and jasmine tea because it gets it out quicker. And I'm feeling a bit better, and I did say I would do another video, and I'm going to talk about wrestling, and I'm not going to talk about my planned topic. I'm going to talk about something that inspired me when I read it, and someone on a forum, wrestlingforum.com to be precise, posted a thread, and the title of the thread was The Rock and John Cena, and whether that feud was legendary or how it would be perceived. And I was very interested in the thread, and I was very interested in what people said on the thread, and if you're a member or whatnot, I'll post the link below. Check that thread out. It's a very interesting topic, and I gave my 2 cents in comments, but I felt that I needed to do a video to get it out there and get people talking about it, because this has been probably the predominant feud of 2011 and 2012. And it's had a lot going into it, and I don't know if anyone's really if you want to say, given a review of the feud, but here's my thoughts on the feud and how it's gone, and let's see what people say in response to it. So, to me, the Rock John Cena feud was not what I thought it would be. Now, full stop right there. Let me have my tea for a second, because I'm almost losing my voice. Okay, so the fact is that the Rock John Cena feud to me was not what it was. That's not necessarily a bad statement, because it was still a good feud, but to me, the Rock John Cena feud needed a certain level of intensity, a certain degree of heat, a certain degree of... It needed an environment, it needed an atmosphere where it was really tense, and you, the viewer, or the person in attendance, would genuinely believe that if they get a little bit too close to each other, they're going to start fighting, and they're going to break all the rules, and they're going to just start ripping each other apart right there and then in front of everyone. They needed to have that kind of heat and intensity, and they needed to kind of perceive that kind of hatred for one another. And I felt that that was lacking in the feud, and it was lacking because they would go there and then they would go back out, and then they would go there and then they would go back out. And to me, in a feud, when you cross a certain line, when you kind of go in a certain direction, when it's a serious feud and you're trying to give off the impression that you hate each other, you can't go back past that line and try and revert to comedy. And that's what I felt the Cena and Rock feud did. And there was one promo, and it was this year, when The Rock did that. Cena kind of owned him on the promo before, and then they had another verbal exchange the next week, and The Rock said that if you strip it all away, if you strip away the tattoos, if you strip this all away, I'm a 6'4" black man who wants to kick your ass. To me, right there, now it's gotten serious, now you need to keep going there. And the very next week, it was back to comedy again, and it hurts the progression of the feud. And if I want to compare it to feuds and things that I've seen of a similar nature, I would compare it immediately to Rashad Evans and Quentin Rampage Jackson, because to me that was almost the exact same feud in a lot of ways. You just had that same kind of heat that they wanted to perceive. The WWE wanted to have that kind of heat, and they kept reverting to comedy. But then you compare it to Rashad Evans and Quentin Rampage Jackson, predominantly the greatest feud of 2009 and 2010, although the fight wasn't what it would have, I can't even say it right. Even though the fight was not what one would have hoped it to have been, this full-out war, the promotion, the interviews, the face-offs, they were so intense, they were so consuming of your energy, and they're so, they got your attention right away when they were right in each other's face after one UFC, going back and forth, and Rampage talks about black on black crime, and then Rashad says things about him on interviews, and then they do the Ultimate Fighter, and Rampage rips the door off in a fit of rage, and they're having these back and forth arguments. They're getting more and more personal, and it's to the point where it's like, I have to see this fight. I don't care what I'm doing on Saturday, I need to see this fight. And I felt that that was the one thing that they lacked in Rock and Cena. Rock and Cena was supposed to be this grudge match. It was supposed to be this dream match. And I felt that it lacked in both those two areas. It was still a good feud. It was still very entertaining to watch. But I felt that for this feud, it needed to be promoted in a completely different way to anything else on the card. You can't have comedy. You can't be funny. Why not take the two of them out of Raw? And they did that once in a lifetime special. Do 3 or 4 episodes like a UFC primetime where you see them training and you learn about their backgrounds and you learn about what the person is and you make them relatable. But the selling point of the shows are that these two really despise each other, and at WrestleMania you're going to see something that you've never seen before, and you create that atmosphere. And I remember distinctly when they had the weigh-ins for that UFC show that I'm talking about, Rashad Evans and Rampage Jackson. You watch that weigh-in and you watch when those two came up, you sense the atmosphere and the environment. I have never seen anything like that in a long time, where it was so intense and so the atmosphere, you could cut it with a knife, to use an old cliche, that you genuinely believed, oh my god, they're going to kill each other the next night. And that's what they needed to do, The Rock and John Cena. And to me, that's where it lacked. And perhaps, they get it right the second time around. They're apparently going to have a rematch. It's rumoured that WrestleMania 29's main event will be The Rock and John Cena. So hopefully they get it right this time and they build that kind of intense hatred or a big time grudge fight feel to it. And I'm going to stop there because I am goofed up on Lemsip and paracetamol and vitamin C. You write some comments. You let me know what you think. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, do whatever you like. I'm going to get out of here and I will that's the paracetamol. I will hopefully get back to you all very soon. Take care.